Oh, thanks, Mum. That looks good. Gee, my grandfather was a big man. Was he tall too? Yeah. Very strong man, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. My grandfather, Paul Schembri, migrated from the tiny island of Malta in the Mediterranean. And he left that little island in 1923. Obviously, he left with other countrymen, and of course they had heard tales of this new country that was developing in Australia. And so he wanted to obviously migrate to Australia to make a better life. This was the land of opportunity and to be part of this fledgling sugar industry. I sort of suspect that they probably had no comprehension about how far away Australia was. Australia and Malta are 14,000 kilometres apart, and they would have had no comprehension of the size of Australia. For instance, you can fit Malta comfortably into Australia 2.5 million times. So that would have been daunting, a bit of an odyssey, but they came to Australia. He arrived in 1923. Can I tell you, they were very poor. He virtually came with nothing. He lived under a tree with a colleague, Mr. Muscat, under that tree for about 6 months till they could find some accommodation. And he used to tell me stories about living under that tree. He and his colleague, Mr. Muscat, only had one set of shoes, so they had to share the shoes depending on the work. But anyway, look, he obviously made it, and he's testament to what can be achieved through hard work, and we're now the beneficiaries of that. So generally for many of the Maltese, they were linking up with family members. I know my grandmother, she was the oldest child of my great-grandfather, so they would have linked up with the family. And through all the Maltese networks, they would have undertaken work. Certainly the early days of the sugar industry in Mackay was hard manual yakka. My grandfather would have cut a lot of cane by hand. I do know that he worked at the sugar mill. His prowess was his physical strength. He might have had some deficiencies in some areas, but he made up for it with his brute strength. And so he worked for a number of years in the sugar mills, cut cane also, and then his opportunity came in 1940 when he bought this farm that we're talking on today. My father Joe, who passed away unfortunately in '62, Mum went through a terrible ordeal when Dad passed away and ended up with a cane farm, 5 children, and that was tough. But she made a lot of sacrifices for all of us, and I'll never forget that. But she had a fierce determination that she was not going to lose the farm. And she was very stoic, and she prevailed. But I also want to thank family members, particularly my uncle Sam, who stepped up to the plate to help out. But Mum's a hero. She's still here living on the farm. She wouldn't want to be anywhere else other than here. So yeah, I owe her, and all of us owe Mum a great debt of gratitude. She never gave up, always showed leadership, made a lot of sacrifices so we could enjoy what we have today. When I came on the farm in 1975, we were seeing the first signs of a major shift in our farming and cultural practices. 1975, for instance, our farming model was the rip-tear bust. Big tractors, work the soil up, cultivate with machinery. That was fine, except if you got a tropical downpour, which is pretty likely in Mackay. You've got 10 inches of rain, all the fruits of your labour and the fertiliser's gone down the farm drain. So we had to change, and in my life as a farmer, 49 years, the changes are almost unparalleled. You would not recognise today compared to the industry in 1975. I got married in 1988, and together with my wife Sally, we started living on this farm because the farm's been in the family for a long time. That's me when I was young. Wish I was as skinny now as I was then. Picture of...
Pretty cute then.
Pretty cute, yeah. Not so much these days. Unfortunately, we had a setback. A lot of families have these setbacks. My son was injured in a motorbike accident in 2007. As a consequence of that, he ended up being a paraplegic. He had dreams and aspirations of being a cane farmer, like his dad, like his grandfather, great-grandfather. And we wondered whether that might happen, given the circumstance. It was a setback. But one of the great things about cane farmers is the DNA. The DNA says we don't give up. And to the great surprise of everybody, my son invented his way out of the problem. I have memories of sleeping in bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, seeing welding flashes on the walls. He was in the shed trying to design machinery to pick himself out of the wheelchair into a tractor or a cane harvester. And as you know, he's now done it. I think he's possibly the only one in the world as a paraplegic who cuts 60,000 tonnes of cane. But again, it's that ingenuity, that never say die approach to invent things that's got him to where he is today, and we're proud of what he's achieved. It's interesting, in your 20s you're not certain what you want to do, you've got a lot of doubt, and I was fortunate that fate stepped in and drove me in the direction of representation of farmers. I got enormous enjoyment out of that, satisfaction. And so, yeah, I've had a good life, I've travelled a bit, met interesting people, life's been good, but one of the great things is I'm still a cane farmer and I still love having smoko or a cup of tea on the creek bank, and it's a good life. So upon reflection, good life, yes.